Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Danny, and I'm the event planner for the New York Reactor. Before we begin, please take a moment to review our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Useful links will be shared in the chat. This session is recorded and will be available on demand in 24 to 48 hours on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. Which brings us to today's session. It will run for approximately 1 hour with times for questions throughout. I will now turn it over to our speakers for introductions.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joey Schlechter. I am Microsoft. I'm with Microsoft. I'm on the GBB App Innovation team. I have been for the last 8 years and been with Microsoft for 10 years. For the past 6 or 7 years, it's been Kubernetes and AI all the way down. So looking forward to sharing this workload identity lab with you guys and walking through it. All right, so it's US Open Week. Let me know who you got in the chat. I'm gonna put my pick in the chat, regardless of his failed driver test or not. But let me know what you guys think as to who is going to win. If I can spell his name right. Right there. All right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to walk through workload identity. Its predecessor, pod identity, it's being replaced by that. So basically what workload identity is allowing you to run a service or application as an identity. All right, much like the old 3-tier applications, if you're a Microsoft Stack person, kind of that identity impersonate type scenario. We're gonna go ahead and do that so that your Kubernetes applications, the Kubernetes services and applications that you deploy, you can then attach a workload and identity to it, and then allow access based on that. All right, and so in this lab, what are you going to learn? You're going to learn how to enable workload identity on a cluster, create a managed identity, create a Kubernetes service account, create a federated identity credential, deploy a sample application using workload identity, and then access the key vault secrets in workload identity. All right. So some prerequisites that you've got here. You obviously need an Azure sub. A GitHub account is good because you're going to download some of these actual applications and services that we'll be running. You also need some command line tools, and you can see in here inside the lab right here, these prerequisites right here. I've got a lot of that done already as far as creating the cluster, having Azure sub, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, and I'm going to be switching screens between the actual lab itself and Cloud Shell, okay? So right now it's saying, hey, let's set up the environment variables, all right? The resource group name is my resource group, AKS name, etc., location, East US, AKV name, your key vault name and everything like that. So I'm going to adjust this though, because I have changed this a little bit. So if I put this down here, so AKV name is my key vault, East US, my AKS cluster, etc., and then my resource group. Okay. So my resource group name is actually RG Workload ID. My cluster name is going to be my AKS cluster. I'm going to put this lowercase so it doesn't freak out. East US. I'm going to put this East US 2 because I did that. Okay. So we're good there. Now we're going to switch back to our other tab. See what we've got here. All right. So in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that workload identity and OpenID are enabled on the cluster itself. All right. So here we go. We're going to say, just switch back between these, grab this. All right. Paste that there. Let me just echo the AKS name. It might be different here. Okay, that's correct. It says it's not. And then we'll do this back here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and enable them. All right, 1 second. Whoopsie. Pull this out. Go back and enable this, grab that command. All right, so you would enable them that way. Mine is already enabled. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one right here and get the OIDC issuer URL. Okay. This takes a few minutes. Nobody's commenting. Oh, I see a teammate of mine commented, but nobody commented on the US Open, this week, but maybe Jim can, if we can. So as this is going on, what is it doing? It's going and getting the OIDC issuer URL for your, switch back while that is running. And then we're going to go and create a managed identity right behind that. So while this is working, we can, okay, whoa. Had a little issue. Let's try to run this again. Let me switch back to this and grab it. I think we're having an issue here with. This takes a few seconds here. Sorry, groggy from the Panthers game. Okay, Jim, no worries. I don't even know who won, so you're going to have to let me know who won between the Oilers and the Panthers. Okay. So we're going to wait for this to run. And while we're doing that, we're going to switch. We're still having an issue here. I wonder why this is an issue. Let's go back and see here. We're going to do some live troubleshooting here. We're going to find out exactly why this is happening. Let's just see here. We're going to take the full command and switch back over here. And paste this. We're going to say, let's just make sure we got the RG name right. Well, that's right. And we've got let's just echo the AKS OIDC issuer. Yeah, we've got nothing there. That's not good. And now let's echo the AKS name. Okay, so that's right. So we seem to be working well, but this command is not running as expected here. Let me try it one more time. Okay, so it's not showing anything. Let's go ahead and enable it. AZ, AKS. OIDC. Let's try this real quick. There we go. Okay, so let's try this again. So we're going to say AZ, AKS. We're going to use the full command, which can be, I'm going to put this in our chat here so that you guys, and yes, I can share the link to the lab as well. Here, I will do that right quick so that you guys see that. Two things. Okay, so the first link, the CLI screen, if you guys are seeing this, I'm going to say share this tab instead. So I'm going to say AZ, pardon me, that's my fault. Thanks, T-Ramji. All right, so what we're going to do here, we are going to AZ AKS update. We're going to go off script here because I don't know what's happening with that command. So I'm going to say AZ AKS update -G, which is, or I can say -- resource group. And that's RG -workload ID. And then the -- cluster, or actually we can do -- name my AKS cluster. All right. And then I'm going to say -- enable OIDC issuer. Okay. So let's see how that does. And this could have been part of, I'm positive it was part of my AKS create command, but we may have had an issue there. Not certain, but this is running right now. And then I'll do the same thing with the, if we switch back over here, I'll do the same thing with workload identity as well. Okay, so as this is running through, let me see if there's any comments here in the cloud. T-Ramji, I hope you can see it now because that's what I'm seeing on my screen. I've got half Cloud Shell, half the Cloud Portal, and everything like that. So let me know if we're having any more command line issues. All right, it's pontificating. And this is, you know, a lot of this, once you go through it one time, because I'd obviously done this a bunch of times over the weekend, once you go through this one or two times, this will be part of your, you know, your CI/CD kind of deployment, bootstrapping of your clusters mix. No worries, Jeremy, all good. I'll be switching back before so that you can see the content, or you can follow along on your, the GitHub page that I gave. So right now this is thinking. I know this is live, so we're just going to have to deal with the wait time here. But in the meantime, you can put in the chat, hey, is it Oilers or Panthers? Jim, if you put, nobody's even telling me who won here. Here, I'll do a quick search while we're pontificating here. We'll go to SPIN and see what's going on. NHL scores. Well, looks like the Panthers crushed them. All right, Jim. Well, have fun with that. Yeah, Panthers 6-1. That's pretty rough. This shouldn't take that long, but it does take a few minutes. Sure, right here. This can take several moments to complete. Yeah, exactly. So. All right. All right, we are still thinking on this. Hopefully the workload identity one does not take as long. It shouldn't, but it's early on the East Coast. Everybody's getting up and doing business, so the cloud is busy. All right. And we could step through some of the other steps, but we've got plenty of time here because the next step is, as this is running, I'll switch over to that tab. The next step is, hey, let's create a managed identity. So this is what we're going to attach to that workload identity. We're going to say, hey, this is going to run as that, and it's going to have all those permissions that you give it from that perspective. Then we'll create a Kubernetes service account. Then we'll create the federated identity credential and so on from that point. Okay, so we are back. We are good. Looks like it was there. Let's go ahead and rerun this other command to see if it is there. Go back here. All right. Let's just see if it is. We'll go back here, swap to it. And this is just to check again. True, so we're enabled. Good. Demo gods are somewhat happy with us. Okay, so the next one we're going to go through is to enable the workload identity. Okay. All right, so if we go back to this right here, share this tab, and we're going to run the same command. And we're going to say enable workload identity. Let's just make sure that that's the right name again. Workload identity, got the spelling right, -- workload - identity. So that will run. Hopefully that's quicker than the OIDC. It should be, but I'm not certain. So what is this command doing? So two things. One, it's getting the OIDC. Okay, so if you're familiar with the auth process of OIDC, it's going to get that. All right, and the workload identity, it's just we're adding these add-ons into the AKS, the Kubernetes cluster. All right, and so yes, this command is adding workload identity support and OIDC support. So there's two things in that. The workload identity is saying, hey, I can run as this, and you can attach, your Entra AD groups and roles and permissions on top of that. Hey, Sylvester from Mexico. How are you? How are you? Hope that answers your question, Jim. You should know about this. So I think he's just lobbing me softballs in here. And we've got Moises from Sao Paulo. Tim from Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Tim. I went to high school in Arizona, Scottsdale Chaparral. So good to see you there. All right, so this command obviously taking a long time as well. It's fine. We've got an hour. Good to go. But basically, if you think about this, it's, hey, I'm running an identity. I'll get to that in a second, Jim. I've got an identity and I want to, let's just pretend it's a single service. Okay. It could be your auth service or anything along those lines, or just a simple, get request on a service to return something. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to run that as this identity that I create. All right. And I'm only going to allow it certain permissions. All right. What most customers that at least we run into and our best practices are, hey, keep each one of those services so that you have your own identity so that you can run them as it. That way, hey, any race conditions or potential problems, security, attack vector scenarios, you can lop that off very quickly through AD. Then change it and replace it, that type of thing. Plus, all of the managed aspect of us rotating the keys and everything like that. So it was a huge benefit from that. All right, so Tim bought Dave's Kubernetes book. Yeah, well, that's good for him. Not much commentary. Nobody has still commented on who they think is going to win the US Open besides me. All right, come on. Oh, Tim Roberts is in Camelback. Hey, yeah, close to me. All right, we are still thinking here. Let's check out what the next steps are. Well, that's pontificating. All right, so once we make sure that that's enabled, we're going to go and get that issuer URL because that's what it has to bounce off of from that perspective. All right, let's check here. All right, we're done there. All right, so we're good. So far, so good. Let's just make sure that we have this workload identity enabled real quick. Let's switch back. Boom. Okay, so we're both enabled. We're ready to go. All right, let's switch back to this tab and we'll keep switching. So all this is good. Now we're going to get the OIDC issuer URL. And here we're going to switch back. Clear this. All is good. And we're going to set that into that variable, the AKS OIDC issuer URL. Boom. So we've got that. All right. So clear that. We'll go to the next step. Okay. All right. So now we have to create a managed identity. All right. Let's go through that. We're going to give it a name. We're going to change that name to something different. Let's rename it. We're going to say my workload. I'm going to say reactor workload ID. Boom. Nope, sorry, I'm not doing that. So I grabbed that, I changed it, I'll show you in a second, and then I'm going to create an identity here. Let's switch back to here. So I created that, so I can say echo this workload ID. Oop. There we go. Okay, let me grab this other piece, which is going to create the identity for you. Okay, and then the location. We can make this, we can make it East US if we wanted to. Oh, whoops. Let's just make sure we're not. Yep, okay, so we're good there. Got an extra, oops, pardon me. Got some paste errors here. Copy this, go back here. All right, so this is going to create the identity in East US. All right, so we got it. All right, now we're going to get several properties of that managed identity for the next steps. We're going to copy this. Okay. I'm going to share this tab. I'm going to show you what I'm going to copy. So I'm going to copy this right here. So that's going to get the client ID. If anybody's ever built a cluster, the client ID, the principal, all that stuff is baked into that. So we're going to copy this, switch over here, clean this up. Okay. All right. So you may tell why we need to create user assigned identity since managed identity is already in there. It's for each one. We're just getting the client ID and getting the principal for it. That's all. Okay. So that's in there. Let's go back to the next step. Let's just make sure that these are good. I'm going to say user assigned client ID. Hey, we're good. Let's clear that. And then we're going to say echo user. What is that name again? User assigned principal ID. Boom. Okay. So we're good on that front. Let's switch back to this tab. Okay, so we've got that. Now we need to create a Kubernetes service count. All right. So we're going to give it a name, then we'll give it the namespace, and then apply that stuff. Okay. All right, so we'll give it a name here. And then, oops, we'll give it that name, pardon me. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to run the following kubectl command to give it to the cluster here. I'm going to do this. We're going to grab this piece right here and say it's basically just Kubernetes manifest that we're going to tell it, hey, this is a service account and this is the client ID that's using it. In other words, we're telling the cluster, hey, use this as my client. All right. Okay. And you could say kubectl. You could go and change that, but whatever. no worries there. All right, we're going to go back here and we're going to name the federated identity credential. All right, so my fed identity, super specific name there. Let's just make sure we got it. Boom, we're good there. All right, so what's the next step? Okay, this is where you're actually going to go and create the identity itself, okay? This federated identity, okay? So let's just copy that and we're going to paste it into our terminal here. Oh, Tim Roberts. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, guy can roll, man. There we go. We've created the that federated identity. Okay, we're gonna go back here. It takes a few seconds, so we're going to let that sample create. All right. One quick thing, which I might be missing on here, is I might need to create a key vault that I deleted earlier today. So we're going to do some fancy stuff live here if we can. We're going to go back up here and setting up the lab environment. We're going to open that up. Whoa, that's not good. Yeah, we're going to go do that. Let's just check on this real quick. All right, so it's there. Let's go back to this while we're doing this. We created the identity. We're good there. Now we're going to create a role assignment here. Let's go back here. Let's clear this up. Before we do that, let's just echo our user assigned principal ID. All right, so we're good. We're good there. I'm gonna come back here, grab this again, and paste it here. Oh, that's where, so see, this is where I need to go and create my AKV. So let's go back here and do this real quick. Setting up the lab environment. Whoa, what's going on here? Why isn't the lab environment showing up here? That's not good. Setting up the lab environment. Okay, let's look for our ACR here. Or our key vault, should I say? Where is our key vault? Let's just pick through here. I think this is doing I'm not certain here. We're going to go through the portal and do this. And we're going to create inside our, I'm going to create a key vault so we've got it. It's an Azure key vault. All right, we're going to create this. We're going to create in the workload ID. We're going to say AKV workload ID, East US. Perfect. Actually, I'm going to put this in East US 2, standard, blah, blah, blah. Days to create vaults. Good to go. Yada, yada, yada. Create. By the way, I could have made this tighter security, all this other stuff, that type of thing. So, but regardless. Okay, so while that is creating, let's just go here and take a peek. Let's look at our resource group and see how it's doing. Portal, what's next? PowerShell. Yeah, I could do this in the command line, Jim, but I don't want to lose my, I've got context and everything built up inside inside this Cloud Shell. I don't want to lose it. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's super jank to do it through the portal, but you know, it is what it is. So we'll wait for that. So there we go. It's pontificating. Let's go back here and see. Let's see. Deployment succeeded. Okay, there we go. All right. So in this case, now we can go back. Let's go to the resource. Let's just make sure that our key vault is there. Oh, good. Perfect. It's all there. All right. So now we're going to go back to our workload ID. And we can see all of our stuff in here. It's already baked in there. So let's go back to our lab. All right. All right. So we've got all that. So we've created the identity. We've created the service account. Okay. Now we're going to, let's just make sure we created the service account. Let's go back here. Let's just make sure that we've got the service account name. Okay, so echo. All right, so we're good on that front. We're going to grab the service account namespace. Let's just make sure that that's right. Echo. And the reason why I'm doing this is running through this Cloud Shell sometimes loses connect because it's ephemeral. It loses some of my, okay. So we haven't done that. So that's where we're at in this step. Okay, good. So where we are now, we're creating the service, Kubernetes service account. We did a quick little detour to create a key vault because we're going to need that to get the secrets. But there we go. So export service account namespace default. We're going to grab that. We're going to go back over, paste that in, and then we can do the same thing. And hey, we've got it. We're default. All right. Next thing. Let's see. Service account. Oh, I didn't do that. So when I copy this right here, we're going to do this again. All right. Okay. We're good. All right, now we're going to create the federated identity credential. All right, which we already kind of did, but we're going to make sure that it's right. Let's just see here. Echo. Grab this. That's good. Already did that. And we should be good on this. We're going to run this command again. Let's copy this. And what this is going to do is it's going to actually create the federated identity. So yes, we already did that. We're all good. Okay, so now let's go back to the role assignment. We need to get the key vault ID, AKV ID. Let's find this right quick. We're going to have to find how to get that AKV ID because it is not showing up here. So we're going to set up a lab environment. We're going to find this AKV ID. Why is this not working? All right, let's switch back here to this. Let's see. Pardon me, kids. Okay, so what we've got to do here is take this, and we're going to have to find out the key vault ID. All right. So what do we do here? We're going to go and grab some commands here. Azure Key Vault. Oh, goodness. I don't know what that ID is. We're going to have to, yes, the scope. We need the AKV ID. We might have to go back on the portal and get that AKV ID. We're going to go do that. We're going to get in properties, overview, properties. Whoa. I'm not. JSON view. Let me be able to get it that way. ID. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we can say AKV underscore ID equals. All right, now we can rerun that command that we got from over here. That's just echo AKV ID, just for the heck of it. That's good. Well, let's do this. All right, we're good. All right, so a little demo god help there, allowing us to move the portal. All right, so we've got everything set up now. Okay, let's go back to this. So now what are we going to do? Now we're going to deploy a sample application utilizing workload identity. We've got a key vault, which is going to be, hey, this is where my secrets are. We've got a cluster where we're going to run things. All right, and then we're going to say, hey, we're going to deploy this and allow that application to go and retrieve secrets from Key Vault. Okay, so we're pretty close here, almost done. Hold tight. Let me see if there's any comments here while we're pontificating about that. Hey, Alan. Yes, it will be, the record of this live stream will be available after the event. I'll have to get with the producer. I think it's 48 or 72 hours or something like that. So look for that. Okay, one thing to note here, as you can see, is that you need to set that Azure.workload.identity use true in the template. Otherwise, it'll fail. Okay. All right, so we're going to grab this. Right here. All right. Let's just copy this. Switch back. Yeah, and clear this up so you guys can see it. It's up just a bit. Of course, that's how it works. Pull this down just so you can see it. All right, so there we go. That has been created. Okay, let's just echo, just so we know, service account namespace. Boom, default. Okay, we're good there. Let's switch back. See what we're at here. Okay. Now we're going to do this within, we're going to go and create a secret. We're going to set this KV name, AKV name to, actually, let's do that right now. Let's see if we don't have an AKV name. Some of these, a lot of this lab is in the setup, so you might lose some of these, some of your variables here. So let's just see, AKV name, my key vault is not my key vault. We are called AKV, so we're going to say AKV name equals, and it is called AKV-workload ID. Okay, So now we're going to go ahead and run that again. There we go. Oh, well, that's not good. That was a horrible paste on my part. Let's grab this again. Oh, okay. Forbidden by RBAC. Okay, let's just see our access control here. Since we're here. And we're going to search for, what did we name this? My workload. Maybe not. We may have to find out what's going on here with our AKV. Caller is not authorized to perform action on resource. It may be. Let me see where this workload ID is at right quick. Is this in East US? No, it's in East US too. I don't know why this would be working like this. Let's see what's going on here. View my access. Okay, we should be good. I don't know why this isn't working. Clear this up. Let's try this again. Sorry, kids. This was giving me an error. If I run this again, sorry. I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to rerun this. I'm getting an error when doing this. I created the secret, not an issue. I might not have the AKV URL. That's what it is. No, we should be good here. I don't know where this is. We created that. Service account namespace, service account. Let's try this again. That works. That's working. I'm not sure what could have happened there. Okay, let's just run through these commands. Key vault secret set, we did good there. All good. All right. We created the secret. Now we're going to apply again. I'm going to share this tab. So what we're doing right now is we're running this, and I'm wondering, so that should be, this right here should be default. The service account name, let's make sure we've got that, and the URL. Let's try this again. Okay. Okay, maybe it did work this time. Let's go back here. We set the secret, we applied it. Maybe it was timing. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna go through this. So we're at step here. We've created this, we've created that. It's got workload identity, MSAL. Let's just go ahead and describe this right quick. Grab this, switch back here. It's clear. Let's move this up a little bit. There we go. So we've got the secret. Shouldn't be. Yes, Jim, I granted access to the secret for the MI. Yes, we're good. All right. So when we've got it, when I do a kubectl describe pod sample, blah, 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 it's coming back and it's showing me my secret. Okay. So we should be good there. Next one is we're going to verify that the log, let me share this tab real quick. We're going to verify that the pod is able to get a token and access the resource, all right, using the kubectl logs command. All right, so I'm going to grab this command right here, flop back over, clear this out, paste it in there. Key vault URL, that's what it is. Now we need the key vault URL. So we're going to have to go back and change this. So right here, I'm going to rerun this again so you guys see it. So yes, so I'm missing the key vault URL. All right, so let's go and find that Key Vault URL. It should be Key Vault. It should be RG Workload ID. Let me grab this and paste it in there. For all you hackers out there that are looking for this, oops. I do not want that. I want this one. So let's say clear. And then we're going to say, okay, we're going to rerun this same command right here. All right, I'm going to paste this over somewhere else real quick. Perfect. So I'm going to grab this right quick. I'm going to paste this back in. So we're going to paste this back in, and we're going to change this AKV URL to be what I've got here. Now let's try it. Clear. That didn't work. Our paste isn't working well. Let me grab. If you pardon me, guys, I'm going to format this comment somewhere else real quick. I'll format this command somewhere else. Here we go. I'm going to grab it. If you guys pardon me. All right, so now I've got the file, or got the command to run, and then what? I don't know why that's not working. All right, that should work. Let me try with, I'm going to do this. Let me try this real quick. I'm going to change, I think it's more of a formatting perspective here in this workload ID value. Let's try this again. Different command with some, oh, okay. That's always great. It's not working. Why is this not working? Let's go back and look at this command. So we've got it here. All right, I'm going to grab this and change this AKV URL live. Whoa. Present, share screen, share screen. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I just hit that. Okay, so I'm going to get this Key Vault ID here, this AKV URL. I'm going to switch it back here, if you could. So we're going to say AKV underscore URL equals. I'm not going to do that. Grab that. Now we're going to rerun the command again from here. Weird. Let me just echo this to make sure. All right, that's good. Grab this command again. Got. Well, this is not working. I do not know why. All right. Okay. Regardless, what we've got there is, what have we done so far? All right. So we've gotten to this point where we've created the Azure Key Vault with workload identity. I did grant access to that, Jim. Yeah, you're good. I created the identity. Now all I need to do is access the key vault, okay? It is not allowing me to access it for some reason. Jim, I'm gonna walk through this real quick. We're gonna try and give that managed identity access here, but it should be good. The key vault. Let me see that. Access control, and I'll say add role assignment, and I'll look for this. Rename it workload. I don't think we're finding it, Jim. In any case, you do need to access, I think I'm having a problem with one of my commands or something like that. And let's just try this one more time. Running this command, because I think yeah, key vault URL, environment variable not set. I know that, but I'm trying to set it right here, and it is not allowing me to. I do not know why. The secret's there. If we go and look at that, let's go and look at the RG workload ID. We're going to look at the key vault, and we're going to see the secrets in there. Well, I guess we're not seeing that. Okay. All right. Well, what I'm going to say here is, because we're short on time, our producer Danny, we might have to. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to just say cooking show. You're going to have to do, once you get that key vault URL set up, which it's not working for me right now. Demo gods were not nice to me. Okay, the next thing you would do is you would say, hey, is that pod running there? Okay, so we're going to describe that. Grab that secret name. Let's just make sure. Okay, so let's clear this, and we'll pretend that it's all working. Hey, the secret name is there. No big deal. Then we're going to go back, and then it would show the logs to show that it's working. Then the next step would be, okay, hey, we're gonna clean that up. But in the real world, what would happen is, hey, this is running. I need to clean this up. You would just delete the pod and then delete the identity if you needed to. Okay, and associated secrets from that perspective. All right. So what did we do? We went through, besides the demo gods not being kind to us, we went through and we enabled workload identity on the AKS cluster. We created a managed identity. One tab that we should add into this is make sure we have a key vault and all the URLs associated with it. We created a Kubernetes service account. We created the federated identity so that we could attach it to Azure AD. We deployed a sample application using workload identity, albeit unsuccessfully. And then we access, in the one port here is, hey, we didn't access the secret in Azure Key Vault with workload identity. All right. So any questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, we're going to clean this off, and then we'll update. I'll work with our producer to update so that we have that last step in there later on. Okay. No questions? Jim? Anybody else from Phoenix, Tim, etc.? All right. 35 watching now. All right. So the last step, obviously, if we step through this, would be to clean up all resources. So, all right, I'm going to go through that. I'm going to test this afterwards so that I can do that. But I thank you all for watching, and have a great day. Thank you, guys.